This is WordPress Wednesday, June 22nd, 2016. Welcome, everyone. We're talking today about marketing with WordPress. And for those who don't know me, my name is Steve. I'm the founder of wizardsplace.com, and I work online with a lot of people like you, solopreneurs mostly, small business owners, people who work from home in many cases, and I help them put the pieces of their online presence together. Anybody who wants to contact me, that's my information in the sidebar. thewiz@rhutch.com is my email address, and wizardsplace.com is the website. Please, everybody, feel free to post your own information in the sidebar if you want to share it with people. The sidebar gets recorded along with this session, so it'll be available there for replays. And, that's a good way to get a little bit of extra exposure. If you want to post a link to a website or to an offering that you're making, a product or a service or a launch, feel free to do so. We're all about sharing here. And I'm just posting in the side instructions on how to ask a question. You're welcome to chat among each other, post in the sidebar. As I said, share your own information, but also just chat about things. But if you have a question that you want me to deal with, please post it in this manner. Put a / and the letter Q, then a space, then type your question and press enter, and that will pop up the little blue cue ball there, which helps me spot the question and deal with it. That way I won't miss it if the chat bar starts to slide by fairly quickly. So that's a / and a Q, which helps out with that, spotting those as they go by. Welcome, Cindy. Glad to see you with us. And we're just getting started here. Just started the recording, and this will be available for replay for those who miss it and are watching it now. You obviously know it's there. And so just want to point out that I am here 3 days a week at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, New York time. Motivational Monday, we're in a multi-part series on the law of attraction. Just finished Reality Mindset on Monday, and next Monday will be Reality Roadblocks and what you can do to fix them. Today, of course, is WordPress Wednesday. We always talk about WordPress, a variety of different things. And Friday is our Focus Friday, where we focus on your business and your success. And we're going through my own book, Wiz's 10 Steps to Staying Focused on Your Objectives. I'll give a free copy away during Friday's session to anybody who hasn't got one. And we'll be talking about one of the chapters in that book on Friday. Chuck, welcome. Glad to have you with us. And so today's topic is marketing with WordPress. We're going to get into some interesting things about that, I think. As you know, I usually share a Facebook group in the session, and this is no exception today. There are exceptions sometimes. But this is a group called WooCommerce, and it's just about that. It's for sharing and asking questions and seeking help on the WordPress plugin, the e-commerce plugin, WooCommerce. Probably the most popular and most flexible plugin for e-commerce on WordPress. This is a small group, about 130 people, but it's reasonably active for a small group. And you can make it just that much more active if you want to drop by and request access to it. It is an open group. I think you'll find it interesting if you use WooCommerce, you have something to share about it, or you have questions about it. It's a great resource. I also like to share a free book. This one, as so many modern books are, they have very, very long titles that incorporate a subtitle. I'm just going to put the title in here along with the link to it. This is free on Amazon. It is called How to Start a Profitable Authority Blog in Under 1 Hour, and it deals in particular with marketing. It says to write about what you love, create a website, and make money. That all sounds pretty good to me. So there's the link to pick that up on Amazon for free today. Kindle books there's lots of them out there. Most of them are reasonably short and often information-packed, good resource. Here is a link to pick up a Kindle app if you don't have a Kindle. They've got a new Kindle coming out. It's just $79.99, $80. If you take the version that has advertising. The advertising, by the way, they call it special offers, only appear on the screen, the cover screen. When you have your Kindle, it has a cover screen on it that just sits there. This is done with e-paper, so it's not drawing any current to display this, and that displays on the Kindle while it's in. That's Agatha Christie, by the way. They have a bunch of rotating screens. But if you opt for the special offers, they appear on that cover screen when your Kindle is not in use, when mine's actually turned off and the screen is displayed there. And you get compensated $20 when you buy your Kindle. They're $99.99 for the standard Kindle. You get it for $79.99 by accepting the offers. I'm not going to post a link. It's not an affiliate thing. Just go to Amazon and have a look and see if you're interested in one. But that's a heck of a good price for a new Kindle. Nice features in the new one. A little nicer than mine. I'm going to actually be buying a replacement one for my wife. They're just great, easy reading devices. But if you have a smartphone that you carry around with you, or a notebook, or a tablet, you can get a reading device or a reading app for that device and read your Kindles or Kindle ebooks. Not quite the same experience, but it's all right. I'm going to share a blog post here. I don't always do this. I post several times a week on my blogs, but this one I'm going to share. Anybody who's using Yoast SEO plugin on their WordPress sites will have noticed some changes, or hopefully noticed some changes, because there's been some significant changes with it. And the biggest change is that they've separated out the content section from the technical section. And so the technical section is kind of like it used to be before, with the, the red light, green light choices that show you what you're needing to do in terms of variety of things on page SEO that Yoast checks. And not much has changed there, except that a couple of items have been removed and moved over into a new section. There's tabs just above that, and the new section is the content section, content tab. And it deals with a couple of the old items that were in the main list that have been pulled out, and it's added a couple of items as well, three new items. And it looks at the sentence structure, in particular, the length of your sentences. It looks at sentences that have bridging words in them, and it looks at the voice of your writing. And the thing that throws people the most about it is this whole voice thing. Because when we're talking about voice in this sense, we're not talking about a focus on your niche, or which would be a marketing voice, or a style of presentation that is uniquely you, which would be your literary voice. But rather, we are referring to grammatical voice. And that's a pretty tough thing to understand. Long time out of school for most of us, and we probably never took much about it in school anyway. It's a pretty obscure thing. So I wrote a blog post about it, which deals with the issue and maybe helps you sort it out a little bit. There's a link to it. If you can get involved in understanding that and write with the proper voice, what it's basically dealing with is the difference between passive voice and active voice. And passive voice is generally not a good way to write, and yet it's the way most of us do write. It's the way many of us speak. So when you start to understand how to take control of it and write in an active voice, you can improve the engagement with your blog posts. That post might help you get started on it. There's a lot of other good information around, and it is worth looking into. I'm not sure how much yet this is critical to good SEO, but Google is certainly writing their algorithms to deal with user experience and with the nature of your writing. several years ago, they bought a British company that was involved in the science of coding machines that could read. And they bought that company, and they've applied a lot of that technology to what they're doing. And they have utilized that in their algorithms. That some of the big rollouts that they've done over the past couple of years have incorporated a lot of that material. And they, you know, their computers, their bots that are coming around checking your sites, they're actually reading the content of your blog post. It's a little hard to get your head around. And they're not sitting around drinking coffee and you know, the computers, they're not sitting around drinking coffee and discussing what they're reading, but they're analyzing it and evaluating it, and passive voice is one of the key elements that are involved in that. So how much it matters yet, I'm not sure. Nobody's really sure, but it does matter, and it's going to matter a lot more. So it's something to catch on to. It's easy once you know how, but that's the key, getting there, getting to know how. So we're talking about marketing. Marketing is all about user experience. And so, you know, most definitely you want to write in the right way to do that. I mentioned on the bottom of that particular post what my score was. You're supposed to have 10% or less passive voice in your article. I've actually written a couple of blog posts recently that fell under that measure right out of the box. I just wrote them and they were good, but I do have trouble with it. It's an area that I've always had trouble, and you know, it does plague authors and writers. And I found in this particular article, and I went back and played with this article a little bit just to have the fun with it and see what I could do, and I couldn't get that sucker. You know, I think it's 17 point something is the number on the bottom there. I couldn't get it below 15. I mean, it just, and certainly not below the 10% required. So I posted it anyway because I thought it was good information to share. And remember that, you know, don't panic. All of these things to do with SEO fall by the wayside when considering your readers. If you're writing for your readers, then you're writing good enough. And if all of this SEO stuff is Greek to you and you don't want to touch it and you're just not interested, hey, that's fine. Go ahead and write for your readers, for your target audience, and write more of it, and you'll do just fine. Now, you can do better if you tackle those other issues, and this is one that's worth tackling. So go ahead and look at that. Look at if you're using Yoast SEO, you'll want to go back into it and look at the bottom of the page when you're writing a post, the section at the bottom. Have a thorough look through that and see what it does and what the new features are. And when you you know, start to apply those things, you'll see some good stuff. And remember, you don't have to get rid of all the red or all the orange indicators, lights, I call them. You know, if there's an average light there at the top of each of those tabs, and if you can get a green average, that's good enough. And over on the right-hand side, just above the publish button, they've taken away the little stoplight that used to be, you know, the red, orange, and green light, and they have added in two little Ys. They're stylized Ys, which are part of the Yoast logo, and they've made those color sensitive. And as long as you get both of those green, which is showing the average, you're doing just fine. So have a look at that and see. Yvonne, welcome. Glad to see you with us. We've just got started, got through some housekeeping stuff, and now into the meat of the things. And I just posted just a couple of posts up the chat bar there. I just posted a link on Wizard's Place to a blog post about passive voice, and so you may want to have a look at that. If you click it, it'll open in a new tab on your browser, and you can save it for later or read it while I'm talking, or you know, whatever is good for you. But I think that post is worth everybody having a look at. And I've tried to write it. It's a technical topic, so I've tried to write it in a way that everybody will be able to understand it. And I'm always open to questions about it. So please, you know, please feel free to email me. I've posted my email up in the chat there. I'll post it again in a few moments. And by all means, you're certainly welcome to contact me about any questions. I'm always glad to help if I can. So what else have I got here to share? That was the passive voice. I'm going to mention a place where I'm going to be virtually. I'm going to be sitting right here, but I will be virtually on Network Live virtually next Monday, June 27th at 3 p.m. You might want to go to Network Live virtually and look at their calendar, their online calendar, and check the scheduling for the show. I don't have a link available right at the moment, but check for the show that's going to be there at 3 p.m. on the 27th. That is, I'm a guest presenter there, and I'm going to be talking about easy SEO for blogging, a subject that's dear to my heart, and I'm going to jump in on that. Yvonne, you're wanting to jump in there. I'm glad to have you come in and chat, so don't go away, but I want to cover just a couple of things here before we open up the seats. I haven't locked them, so they are open, but just hang on and we'll do that. And Lai, welcome. Glad to have you with us. And want to just cover these couple of things. And just a plug for some of my own stuff, kind of keep the wheels moving here. This is my beginner mastermind program, and I'm opening up a new version of that. So anybody who wants to hang out with me on a mastermind structure, now this is for, I call it the beginner one. It's either for people who are beginning in business or beginning in masterminds. I don't have a lot of experience with those and want to get in on something that's not going to be high pressure or very confusing. It's a round table session. It's a small number of people. I'm going to keep it between 5 and 8 people, and we're going to work collectively. I'll moderate it to keep it on track, but it is all about the participants. Each person will have their own presenting to do and their own hot seat to be on, and it's a place to bring questions and share answers and find solutions. It's all about solutions. This one is going to be available. I'm filling the new one, and so it will be available very shortly. You might want to check that. There's no fancy sales page there. I'm not big on that. Just some information about it. And again, if you have questions, feel free to get a hold of me and we can talk. I've got some things I want to share on some plugins for marketing and some various things. But while I'm doing that, and I'll bring those in as sort of extras in our discussion, Christopher, if you want to jump in, and Yvonne, if you're interested in sharing something, please feel free to jump in. We'll be glad to share with you. But Christopher, pop in here and let me just get this. There we go. You're on your way. And so we'll. I wanted to bring Christopher in today because he brought something up earlier in a previous session about his service that he provides, and it is a website hosting and development site. I'll let Christopher get into the details on it, but it is to my way of thinking, it is just a superb opportunity. It's kind of like halfway between WordPress.com, where you can go and get a free website, and hosting your own site. It's kind of in the middle there and fills a huge gap for people who don't want to do everything themselves, but also don't want to pay the huge prices that some of these fully managed sites are charging, and yet want more and more flexibility, and especially in the marketing aspect of it, more things than the WordPress.com offers. So, Christopher, I'm going to turn this right over to you, and not very formal here, but maybe tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, so people who don't know you can kind of tie your face to some things. And then tell us about what you offer, because this is truly dynamite. Go ahead.
Well, once again, my name is Chris Shulo. Of course, my name doesn't sound anything like it's spelled. Blame the guys on Ellis Island for that. Don't blame me. But what it is I've been involved in selling online since about 92 or 93. Right at the beginning, I was using AOL, building my website and web pages on AOL. My really only claim to fame for selling on the internet is that I did pay some programmers to write me a JavaScript shopping cart, and it was very popular. And I got a phone call from these two computer science majors out at Stanford University. One guy's name was Larry Page, and the other one's name was Sergey Brin. And they had asked me that they're putting together this new search engine called Google. And they want to go to a website that changes a lot with JavaScript because their algorithm wasn't being able to bring up JavaScript. So I asked them, what's in it for me? And they said, we'll just give you a little heads up on what you need to do in order to stay ranking. So for like the next 14 years, my pages are like ranked number on the first page of Google. They stopped calling me recently because they just don't have the time. But it was interesting. So what had happened is as we were moving and as the internet was moving, I started moving towards WordPress. I saw that WordPress was, as it was getting better, particularly version 3, I said, maybe these guys at WordPress have something. I'm from the world Steve is from, where I could just do stuff, code it myself, sometimes a lot quicker and a lot easier. So what we've done is we've put together what my business partner, with some health issues both he and I were facing, thought that, hey, we'll just slow it down a little bit and we'll build our own WordPress platform for internet marketers. And that turned out to be probably one of the hugest mistakes I've ever made my entire life, because I was saying, we built, people are loving this platform, but I'm so sick and tired of these newbies that are giving me phone calls that need help. I didn't build this platform for newbies. I built it for people that didn't need tech support. It took me months before the light actually went on in my head that our clients were not these guys that already had internet marketing sites. They were the newbies. They were the people out there that had wanted to leave WordPress and possibly think about going out on their own, but they really didn't know how to bridge that gap. And that's what we did. We built a platform for those folks. There's a 45-day free trial on it. It's built on the Genesis framework. You get almost 100 different themes, premium themes, and 75 or so plugins that are good tested plugins. Some of them are paid plugins, some of them are free, but they're all quality plugins where you can actually go somewhere and test it. It's on a Lightning, so you have a super fast managed. You want to find out about fast servers, read about Lightning Base. It's one of the fastest. And it just works really nice, really easy. And what it's doing is it's giving a lot of people an opportunity to try WordPress, big grown-up, full version of WordPress, without going to the expense, without going to the trouble. Now, here comes another problem that we run into. So many people are calling up for help, assistance, and everything else. We have started up another section of our website that is going to be for internet marketers, trainers, and coaches out there, where they can now start putting their business information, their cards and stuff, and we're going to have a link right directly from our site and start referring everybody there. Steve can tell you that there is no way Steve can handle all the customers that are out there that need help, need coaching, and need everything else. I can't do it. Steve can't do it. My partner, Craig, can't do it either. So by opening this up for the people that come to our network, anybody wants to come. Now, and it's weird because we've got a lot of coaches, and these people only want to teach coaching. They're sick of building WordPress sites for their customers. They're coming to us now. They're getting their people to sign up on the site. They're training them on our site, and then it's up to them whether they want to continue to stay and grow or whether they want to leave. That's their call to make. But that was the platform that we had built. We had built a platform that's open to everyone to use, whether you're an internet marketer, MLM guy, a blogger, a weekend blogger, a family blogger, whatever. It doesn't matter. You want to try WordPress fast. You want to have a good time doing it. We handle all the heavy lifting. It literally takes less than 6 seconds for our system to build an entire WordPress site.
Awesome. Look, let me ask you just a couple questions to clarify some things here. I'm certainly thinking about them, and maybe other people are. The first one is the site is then kind of a done deal. You have the ability to select from the plugins and the themes that are there, and then do whatever you want with your content. But can you add your own plugins, or can you request the plugin be looked at?
Yes, you can request it to be looked at. We will be more than happy to look at anything that makes our platform better, anything that we people may use. Now, once again, we are members of WPMU. We have access to all the themes and all the plugins that are available through there. Just because there's a theme out there and we don't have it on the site doesn't mean that it's not something already similar available through WPMU. The nice thing about WPMU or DEV, the WordPress developers, is that they've already done all the pre-testing of everything and make sure that it works. So if you have somebody who wants to offer some kind of learning system or what have you, or even podcasting, we can put that podcasting plug-in in. They can play with it. It may not be better as some of the other ones out there, but what it's going to do is it's going to get their feet wet in this to say, I like that. I think that works out pretty good. I think that's going to do a good job. But yeah, definitely it works out, real well for them. And we are receptive to hearing other ideas. Like, we're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. We're not claiming to be. But if there's something out there that we should look at, then we really need this being told to us by our community. You guys need to check these guys out. We definitely will go in and check them.
Okay, two other specific questions then. Do you have, and which one in both questions here? One, a page builder, and two, an e-commerce platform.
We do not have a page builder at this time. Okay, we are looking at some of the page builders that you've seen have come out. But there is one offered that we have. I just don't like it. I'm not saying that we don't have one. The one we have is terrible. I don't want to use it.
Which one is that?
It's the one that comes from WPMU.
Okay.
I think it's called Footer or something. It's just terrible. It was written 10 years ago. It's not.
That is the one problem with WPMU that I've found. They seem to hang on to stuff
a little too long.
Once they have it there, and they don't always, they'll update it to be current with WordPress, but they don't always update what it could do. And that's
exactly.
They have a lot of people that come and go through that system, and they get the plugins in there, and then their own guys can update it to make it work with the current version of WordPress, but the creative person may no longer be there, and that's unfortunate.
Right.
With that in mind, I'm going to just jump into something that I've got scheduled here. You've just given me an open door there for it, so I'm going to share this link. I just came across this, and we've been talking about page builders for a couple of weeks now, going over a few of them and looking, first introduction and then in depth, and kind of beating it to death there. But doggone it, if there isn't another plugin out there that I just discovered. It's called Elementor, and it is a page builder. It's a lot like Beaver Builder, but it's free. It's open source, fully open source. No pro version of it, no upgrade version of it, premium version. It's 100% the plugin. Very powerful, very fast. That was the thing that I really noticed about it out of the box. A lot of plugins, they get a little wheel kind of crunching away when you save something or you go to do something, and you can wait for quite a bit of time. Or even when you're dragging and dropping something, you drag it, you drop it, and you wait while everything updates. There's a load time at the front end of this, and there's a save time at the end of it, both of which are short, but those are the longest two things in terms of waiting. Most of what you do on the page happens instantly. You drag and drop something, it's there. You bring in a widget or something into the fields. It allows you to widgetize your pages. All of the columns and boxes that you can drag and drop around the page can be set up as widget areas, so you can drop any widget into the page. It supports the regular WordPress widgets. I'm not sure of any other plugin, a page builder that does that in the same way. And it is very, 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 very possible to build some pretty elaborate pages with this thing. The being free. I mean, that's really an amazing thing.
Do you know if there's a pro version of this? Oh.
No, there's no pro version. It's a full open source.
Okay.
It's open source like WordPress.
All right.
But one other important thing, it also works on the front end. So now you have to have back end access. You have to have edit access. But when you open it up, it pulls up the website theme in the front end, and you're actually working on the page exactly the way it's going to look like when you publish it. You're not switching back and forth between, work mode and view mode and all the things that we normally have to do. I am truly excited about this, and I don't get excited about plugins very often. I like a lot of them, and I evaluate them rationally, but this one actually, tickled my fancy. It is a powerful opportunity. You might want to have a look at that, and other people here today. That was the link up above. It's scrolling off there now, I guess, but it's really worth having a look at. And listen, guys, I'm definitely open to chit chat in the sidebar, but let's keep it on topic if possible. You can post your links and so on that are off topic, but this is about WordPress today, and we're talking about marketing with WordPress. So glad to have you here. Glad to have you post in the sidebar, but let's try to stay as much on topic as possible and share and help others. Don't get into arguments.
Now, that's an MU. Would that work on an MU site? That Emunator or?
I don't know that question, but that's a good point for you. Obviously. I don't see why not. Actually, thinking about it, I think I did read on their page that it is multi-site compatible. Nice. So so have a look at it and see. Their page is fairly descriptive. Yeah.
The one thing you did mention too about the shopping carts, we offer 2 shopping carts on our system. The first one that we offer is, of course, WooCommerce. Very simple, very easy. But there's another one out there that we really like from Tricks and Tips HQ, which is their simple PayPal shopping cart. Simple, easy, quick to use. If you only have 2 or 3 items, that's the way to go. It's a nice little package. It's offered on the site as well too, and it works right through PayPal. A slick little software package. It works out real well. By the way, I wanted to mention as well too, we also do include an autoresponder as well in our platform. So people that want to start internet marketing or emailing newsletters and so forth can certainly do it. We have a free version in there currently, but for folks that wish to sign up for our actual service and our internet marketers platform or what have you, sales platform, we can upgrade them to a larger full-size third-party email responder. And as well as they also get a free ticket support hub system that we own as well too, which works really well. That's the hardest thing with an autoresponder is that if you belong to some of the sites and they decide to boot you out, you're done. With Aweber or some of the other ones, you just lost your entire database. But being able to build your database on your WordPress website where you can always export it and you always have it handy, that makes life just a whole lot easier and a whole lot more secure. Yeah, so awesome. That was one of the things we learned.
Let me interject here, Chris. I'm sorry to take away from your time, but I just want to deal with a sidebar issue there. And thank you, Cindy, for jumping in and handling that. When we get into these conversations, it's a little hard to monitor the sidebar. But I just got called for censorship for what I said before there. And anybody who knows me knows that I am the least likely to censor anything. I try to keep generally on topic, and I say generally on topic. the conversation can go elsewhere if appropriate. But when people start dominating the chat board so that it's no longer useful for the things that we're actually doing here, then we take objection to that. It's not censorship, it's just common sense. And for all of you who are here and stay here and find these sessions valuable, we want to protect your right to see what's going on here. And when trolls jump in, and we had 3 of them, two that Cindy ejected, and one that went on their own. When they come in and they see I'm here, they now know there's no point. And it is definitely, we want a good experience here, and so we are going to, we're going to do those kinds of things, and it's not, it's we're not out of line doing that. I don't think. I'm probably the most open, serious host on running a family-friendly public show. There's other shows that do things that they choose to do that I wouldn't do here. But as Cindy says, when we get into swearing and arguments and back and forth stuff that doesn't have any meaningful purpose to what we're doing, it has to go. That's a line that I draw, and I apologize if that offends anybody, but it is where we're at because we want to share good stuff here. Greg, welcome. You've just come in on the end of a tirade of mine, so you've got to the right moment. We're talking with Chris Shulo here, who is an online marketer and a website guy, and he is telling us about his wonderful place that gives us all of these things. Chris, did you share the link while you were talking there? I didn't notice it. I was actually listening. Yeah, but do put that link up there because people should know.
There's that link.
And there is a, that's the plugin. Thank you for resharing that. And that's web. As I understand it, we're talking about a paid platform, which includes the hosting and the access to all this good stuff and the support. And all the problems are taken away from it because you guys are keeping it up and working and running smoothly. So 2 questions about that. And you mentioned a 45-day free trial. 45 days. That's a month and a half. That's awesome.
Well,
that
when you're training, if you're training somebody and sometimes they just don't get it, and the pressure of the 30-day clock or 10-day clock or 14-day clock ticking away, you know what I mean? It adds extra stress that people really don't need. So that's the reason why we've made ours a 45-day clock on people there. They can export the information at the end of the 45 days if they wish. That's their call to make. But if you wanted to continue to use the system, if you pay for it a year in advance, it's a whopping $10 a month. If you wanted to pay for it, by month, it's $20 a month. And there's a couple different levels because there's a couple different things. And we've spent over $10,000 buying very specialized tools that are out there. Video sales letters, video monitoring equipment, lead pages, lead video pages. There's all these great products that we've bought to help enhance what you're doing. But you can't access that stuff unless you buy the bigger systems, and somebody stepping up to a larger, basically sit there and say, I want this, 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 and this, but let me see what other stuff. We have 4 different podcasting things that are out there. We have, I think, 5 or 6 different learning management systems that are out there. You take whichever ones you want to use to make your site the best.
So there's a lot of flexibility within that. Yeah. And, the opportunity here, folks, to be able to try something like this for 45 days, if I could dare to suggest this, just go and put up a site. Keep your existing site where it is, or if you don't have a site yet, keep doing what you're doing, marketing on Facebook, if that's your thing. But everybody really should have their own domain name, their own hosting, and a WordPress website. Now, there's other opportunities besides WordPress. There's good stuff out there, and I've tried many of them. I won't say most of them, but probably most of them. And I've been building websites. My first commercial website was in 1994. I was building websites before that. I was there when the World Wide Web first rolled out. I've been online since a lot longer than that. And I've used just about every software for building websites and most of the online platforms. I hand code. I code in HTML and PHP and all those things I do in my sleep. And so I've been there and I've done that, and I've got the proverbial T-shirt. And it took me a while to get into WordPress. It took me a while because I was very critical, and I knew what works and what doesn't work. And it took WordPress a while to come from being just a blog, to being a full-fledged website platform. And when it got to that point, sometime after, I think 2.6 was when I got involved, and I started to see the reality of it. Then it was worth getting involved with. But today, I can tell you from my own experience, there might be something out there I don't know about that is coming along that's better than WordPress. I certainly don't know about it. But I do know about, I know about most of the other opportunities that are out there, and I know in some depth about most of the top 100 choices. And I can tell you that, listen to these numbers. WordPress represents 63+% of all content management system installations. Those are websites that store their content in a database and draw it out to build the pages dynamically. WordPress represents over 60%, 63 approaching 65% of all installed websites. And of all websites in general, WordPress represents 25+%. 25% of everything that's ever been built on the web. Somebody thinks they're good. A lot of somebodies. Yeah, and I agree with them. I think they're good. Now, the next competitors in terms of content management systems, right? WordPress has got 63% out of the 100. The next two competitors are Drupal and Joomla. Maybe you've heard of those, maybe you haven't. They are WordPress-like systems. They're not built on a blogging base. They were built, Joomla was built on a data concept, and it grew out of that into what it is today. Drupal was built more on a kind of middle road concept somewhere between WordPress and Joomla. Basically, Drupal was designed to make make Joomla understandable, because Drupal, you had to have almost have a science degree originally just to get into it. But they've both gone a long way since then. They've taken a lot of lessons from WordPress, I think. But those two fight for somewhere around 13% of the total, and they bought back and forth as to who's number 2 and who's number 3. I was using WordPress when WordPress got to the point of being number 1, just nudging out those two, because they were originally number 1 and number 2, and they switched around a couple of times in those positions. And when WordPress beat them out, in that same year, WordPress got ushered into the Website Hall of Fame, which was for the website platform structure. That was a really big win for them, and they've just gone on since then. And at that time, the three of those were fighting over 3% each. 3% each. Joomla and Drupal are now about 13% total between them, and there's WordPress at 63% of that total. So those three and everybody else, right? So where do you go? You go to Wix, you go to Weebly, or one of these places. I mean,
Webs.com.
You're crazy if you do, and you're pretty much on your own, and you will likely regret it. Some people are there that have been there, all their time online, and they think it's cool, and that's okay. Different strokes for different folks. But I got to tell you, WordPress is the right way to go. If you're going to start for free, because you have to do it for free for the next year before you get things sorted out, then WordPress.com is a good choice. Now, I sell my services putting out WordPress, building WordPress sites for clients, hosting sites for clients. I have semi-managed packages that are cheaper than, say, WP Engine. That's pretty expensive. With a lot more flexibility. I believe in designing individual things for people's needs.
Right.
And here I am sitting here bringing Chris onto my show and recommending his stuff. Now, I understand we're going to talk about your affiliate program offline, but I don't even have an affiliate program with Chris. I'm not making any money on anything here. So I just wanted Chris to come on because when I saw what he was doing and I took a look at it, I haven't even signed up yet. I'm going to do that. But when I took a look at it, I was blown away by what it offers and what the price is. So I had to share it, Chris. I had to tell people about what you're doing because it is truly cool. So,
I appreciate it.
If you read, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, one thing is I want to talk to Sheriff Cindy about this because I know that Sheriff Cindy is a writer. We have had so many authors sign up are trying WordPress as the author. I think it's Pagely. I don't know if it's called Pagely or not, but I know that there's a system out there that authors have been using. We've been getting so many writers joining, coming onto our network and playing with it just to see maybe WordPress is the way for me to write my next novel, my next book, my next fan. Because, and here's why they like it, they get feedback. An editor can actually read what they're writing and actually give them feedback in the comments section so that they know what they're talking. They don't have to spend the time sitting there face to face talking to them. They can go through and say, story's a little weak here. You need a little work there. They can include pictures and images and videos to keep them motivated in writing and to keep them on topic as far as their writing. I've got a lot of accolades from a lot of people that are writers that are on our platform. None of them have gone past the 45 days yet, whether they want to still continue to keep it or not. But they're using it and they're really loving it. And they're saying, this might be the way to go. And that's great. That's fantastic.
Your price is not much more than the cheap hosting that you can get.
No,
and it's providing a better, faster platform with more room for growth and a more solid process. It just seems to me to be the way to go with it. So, it's just dynamite in terms of what you're offering. It's causing me to rethink my whole model. I don't want to do what you're doing because it's not what I do. It's not what I choose to do, but it's rethinking my whole model.
Yeah.
I've just gone through a session with my own hosting. I have my own servers, and one of my clients got hacked because they did some crazy things on their site and they got hacked. Because I allow them to install their own plugins. And there's one client installed a plugin that was no good. They got hacked, and the hackers ended up hacking, half a dozen other sites, and I had my hands full cleaning that up. I had to rethink whether that kind of intense commitment on my part over about 5 days was worth it for what I can charge for hosting, because I'm competing with hosting against, $3.95 a month hosting. And interestingly enough, one of the people that a new account that I have is a person who came to me out of desperation. They were hosted on a $3.95 a month, if you buy 5 years ahead of time, package, and they got hacked. There was a vulnerability in WordPress that's just recently been fixed, and they got hacked. And their host, one of the big name hosts that are out there that everybody probably used at one time or another, their host shut their site down. You got the stock screen coming up, that the same screen they put up for people who don't pay their account. That screen came up and said, this subscriber or this site is under review and not available, whatever. And if you're the owner of this site, please contact tech support, like you're a scoundrel on the run or something.
Exactly.
It would shock this person, and they were told they had, I forget what it was now. I think it was 72 hours to get their site cleaned up.
Yeah.
They were sent to a major expensive cleanup place to get their site cleaned up because this hosting service wouldn't do anything about it. That's not their job. They provide hosting. And so this person was on their own. So they came to me in desperation. And the arrangement that I made was to move them to my hosting, charge them my hosting, which is slightly more expensive. And I would clean up their site as I moved it over, because that's a good way to clean a site, actually. And that was good. And so we've had no more problem with that. We've got them cleaned up and it's done. But that happened at exactly the same time this other site got hacked. And so my hands were really full with, with working with all this stuff. So it's starting to make me think that I'm going to be looking at your place for clients, because you're delivering what I need, and you're delivering what my clients need. And I can still work with my clients on the things that I do with them in terms of SEO and content development and all those various things. It just makes sense when a quality site is up there. So I really appreciate that.
And that's what a lot of people that are coaches and trainers have found, that by going to us and letting us do the heavy lifting, and look, I'm not the guy that does it. It's my partner that does it. He lives for this stuff. And the thing is, he's in Scotland. He's based in Scotland. So when we're sleeping at night, he's just getting up for the day. He's just getting ready to start tackling the day, and he'll work and do stuff that he wants to. But he has a very good relationship with the server company, with Lightning Base. They have locations all over the world, and we never wait more than maybe 10 or 15 minutes. If we ever do have a customer that has an issue, it's usually no longer than 10 or 15 minutes, and they're constantly backed up every night. It's constantly backed up, and we call them up and say, hey, we have customer XYZ. They did something. Can you throw the backup up? And they say, sure. And they do it for us right away. We don't even have to do that anymore, which is beautiful. And, and it makes us happy, and it makes customers happy. And it makes these people that are new to WordPress, makes them happy, because they feel, oh no, I really messed something up. No, I care for you right away. And it's just a good operation. It was, hey, we were smart. We lucked into this group. They actually found us and liked what we were doing and said, hey, you guys need to come and see this. And when we saw it, we were just floored. We said, these people are amazing. And that's one of the things when you read reviews about Lightning Base, the one thing that you'll hear most off about is how fast their technical support gets back in touch with you. We don't hide them from going to you. You can go to them if you want to, if you have questions directly dealing with one of your customers, and we have no problem with it. And they have the relationship with us that they say that's cool. We don't charge for that. That's let them do it.
Well, that's awesome, and I can tell you're excited about this. So that's another underscore for it that's there.
Yeah.
There's a question in the sidebar, Chris, for you from Cindy. It's actually a double question. Is the sheriff, and she's wondering what that question was because she missed it. I think she was busy polishing her badge or something there, so she missed that.
She was busy regulating. She was regulating on some more people. So that's the. If you're a lurker, you better watch out. You know who you are out there, so you better.
Yeah. And Cindy's got your. That's why I love to have her here, because she spots those things that slip by me, and she sure knows what to do.
She's
so that's
sheriff,
cool.
The sheriff of Wizard Lane. You got to watch out for that. She's the sheriff of the hutch.
I want to share a couple of other things here. We're running up to the top of the hour.
Go ahead.
I got 3 more things I want to share quickly. And then first of all, I want to say thank you for that, Chris. You did a great share with people. Folks, I hope you got some value out of that. Give some accolades, some props to Chris there if you appreciated it. And I want to share 3 more things here. One is a plugin. This is the WordPress plugin called WooCommerce Customizer. It's a free plugin, and there's a lot of people out there that are asking questions about, how do I change this bit of text, or how do I change that, move this position, and so on. Because WooCommerce is a great product. It was built by some expert coders, but they are also worldwide. It's an open source project. And they look at things from perspectives from around the world, and sometimes things like shopping basket and shopping cart, aren't interchangeable. They haven't put a way to select those things in. So this plugin allows you to edit an awful lot of little features that you may want to change for you. If you're using WooCommerce you really want to have a look at that. And WooCommerce, in my opinion, is unquestionably the best on-site plugin for a shopping cart. We're going to talk about those in a week coming up. Look at several shopping carts. And for the on-site one, it is by far the best. There are several other good ones though. And you know, best is a personal choice, and it also has to do with the kinds of things that it does. But there are some times where you need something that's not as big and bulky as WooCommerce, and there's other choices. So we'll have a look at those. I want to share a theme. You know, and I'm pretty set, as people know, on the Woo Themes Canvas theme, which I use. I really have trouble understanding why people, you know, jump into something like Divi or Aveda or some of these themes. And mostly they tell me, like Divi especially, people will say, "Oh, I use Divi because of the built-in page builder." Well, that's great, but you marry Divi when you do that, because Divi's page builder, even though it is now available as a standalone page builder, that page builder stores its own database of your content, and then it produces short codes on the page to reference that data. And if you stop using that page builder, you don't have your page data. It's gone. So it's a good page builder, beautiful, does nice stuff. But Beaver Builder and this new one, Elementor, both do as much or more than the Divi Builder, and they give you back your data if you stop using them, your page information. Now, you might have to tweak it a little bit, and you won't have the features or functions that the page builder might have added into it in terms of animation and you know, graphic icons and so on, but you will have your data still on the page. Your content will still be there, and that is a real top reason for choosing one of those kind of plugins. So you know, if the Divi page builder is your reason for choosing the Divi theme has a lot of stuff, but it's limited. Why not use Canvas and the Divi page builder, which will give you everything Divi gives you and so much more. So I'm not a big person on themes. I know Chris talks about the Genesis theme system, and it is very good too. If I wasn't using Canvas, I would probably be using Genesis because of the framework themes. So we're going to talk about framework themes in another week as well. Of framework themes, Genesis is right up there at the top. I just happen to think, for me, you know, for what I do, Canvas works the best. But this theme, this is the theme store, or the theme called Storefront. This is a free theme from Woo Themes. It's a basic, simple theme that allows you to create a storefront with WooCommerce, and it really is beautiful because it's been designed from the ground up to be an effective minimalist theme that integrates directly and totally with WooCommerce. So there's no issues, there's no problems. It's right out of the box, ready to go with WooCommerce. Install WooCommerce, turn it on, configure it for your shop needs, and you're in business. Now, one of the problems with this theme that a lot of people mention, it's pretty basic. You know, it's a great looking store. It does what you want. It does everything you need. But, you know, people have their own interpretations, their own design needs, and so on. So here's an answer. Here is a page full, a bucket full of storefront child themes, each with their own design and layout that's different than storefront. So if you take WooCommerce, storefront, and pick the child theme that you think suits your needs best, you've got instant WordPress online e-commerce. It's awesome. Now, what Chris is doing will do the same thing. Genesis has the same kinds of capability, and I think I saw the number you said.
There's the themes right there.
Premium themes.
People can actually click there and look through the different. But I think Storefront's included, and I'm almost sure the customizer in WooCommerce is there as well too. But I'm 100% sure. I think the Storefronts is included in there, so you have a bunch of different things to try. Because most of our themes, believe it or not, are StudioPress themes. So you have that whole animal open up to you as well too. So that's it gives you a chance to try some crazy stuff you've never tried before. But yeah, that's
well, we're at the top of the
Yep.
hour, so I want to stop the recording here. I want to have a big thanks to Chris for sharing with us today. I hope some of the other material that was tossed in here on marketing with WordPress was good. And thank you all for coming out and joining us. I'm going to turn off the recording, but I will be here for a little bit, and I think Chris is going to stay too.
Sure.
So I just want to remind people we're here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Motivational Monday. Right now we're into a in-depth series on the law of attraction. If you need some help getting things working for you in a positive sense, drop by on Monday. Wednesday is always WordPress Wednesday. We cover a lot of different material on WordPress. Friday is Focus Friday, which is a focus on you and your business. You can jump into a seat and share, or we will provide material that will help you get a focus on what you're doing. And right now we're in the middle of a 10-week series on staying focused on your objectives. Staying focused on your objectives. Leave the objections aside. And we're here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That's noon Central Time and 10 a.m. Pacific Time. I'll let the rest of you figure out if you're in a different time zone what it is. And we look forward to seeing you. So thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. I'm going to turn the recording off.
See you, folks.